I grip my keys tighter as I step into the empty street. 3 a.m. means the city belongs to shadows and things that hunt in them. My coffee shop shift ended 20 minutes ago. The bruise on my ribs still aches where I knocked into the counter. The bus won't come for another hour. I should have called a cab, but my bank account laughs at that idea. Rent was due yesterday. My phone has 17 missed calls from Evander, but I deleted them without listening. A sound cuts through the quiet. Sharp, desperate, human. I stop walking. Every instinct screams at me to keep moving. Nothing good happens in alleys at 3 a.m., but the sound comes again, weaker this time. Someone is hurt. My EMT training kicks in before common sense can stop me. I turn toward the narrow alley between two old buildings. The streetlight barely reaches past the entrance. "Hello?" I call out. "Do you need help?" Silence. Then a small whimper. I pull out my phone and turn on the flashlight. The beam cuts through the darkness, revealing trash cans and broken glass. Something moves near the far wall. A child. Pale skin. Dark hair. He's crumpled against the brick wall. His clothes are torn. Blood stains his shirt. "Oh, God!" I rush toward him, dropping to my knees. "Hey, can you hear me?" His eyes flutter open. They're red. Not brown or blue or green. Red. My breath catches, but I don't pull away. He's hurt. Nothing else matters right now. "It's okay," I say. "I'm going to help you." His skin is too cold. His pulse is weak but steady. I check his airway first, then look for obvious injuries. Burns mark his neck in strange patterns. The wounds look fresh. The streetlight above us flickers. I glance up and notice something wrong. The bulb is different from the others. Brighter, harsher, UV light. I move without thinking. I position myself between the boy and the light, using my body to shield him. His breathing gets easier immediately. "That's better," I whisper. "Someone hurt you, didn't they?" He nods once. His hand reaches for mine. "Hunters," he says. His voice is small and scared. Footsteps echo from the street. Slow, deliberate, coming this way. "We need to get you out of here," I say. But it's too late. A shadow fills the alley entrance. The man who steps into view makes my blood freeze. He's tall, elegant, beautiful in a way that feels dangerous. His dark hair is perfectly styled despite the late hour. His clothes are expensive but practical. His eyes lock onto mine. They're the same red as the boy's, but older, hungrier. "Step away from him," he says. His voice is quiet, but it carries absolute authority. "He's hurt," I say. "The UV burns. I know what they are." He moves closer. Each step is measured, precise. He stops just outside the light's reach. "You shielded him," he says. It's not a question. "Yes." "Why?" "Because he needed help." Something flickers across his face. Surprise, maybe, or something softer. "Hunters are coming," he says. "You need to move behind me. Now." Hunters? The people who did this to him. They're not finished. Voices carry from the street. Multiple people. Getting closer. The man's entire demeanor changes. The elegant mask falls away. What's underneath is sharp, predatory, lethal. "Behind me," he says again. "Do not move until I tell you." I help the boy to his feet. He leans against me, still weak. We move to the back of the alley. 3 figures appear at the entrance. They wear dark clothing and carry silver weapons. One of them has a device that hums with electric energy. "There," one of them says. "The air." The elegant man steps forward. The temperature in the alley drops. "You made a mistake coming here," he says. The hunters raise their weapons. The man moves. I've never seen anything like it. He's faster than human. Stronger than possible. He doesn't waste motion or time. He disables the first hunter before the man can lift his silver blade. The second hunter's electric device goes flying, sparking against the brick wall. The third hunter tries to run. He doesn't make it to the street. In less than 30 seconds, it's over. Another figure emerges from the shadows. A woman with short blonde hair and tactical gear. She moves with the same predatory grace as the man. "Seren," the man says. "All clear, my lord," she replies. "But there will be more." "I know." He turns to look at me and the boy. "Come." Seren opens a door I hadn't noticed before. Hidden in the alley wall, painted to match the brick. "Where does that lead?" I ask. "Safety," the man says. The boy tugs on my sleeve. "Please," he whispers. "I don't want to be alone." I look at the 3 unconscious hunters. At the hidden door. At the man whose eyes glow red in the darkness. Every rational thought tells me to run. But the child's hand in mine is real. His fear is real. And somewhere in the back of my mind, a hunter shouted a name I never wanted to hear again. Evander. "All right," I say. "Lead the way." The corridor behind the door is narrow and dimly lit. Old stone walls, no windows. Seren closes the door behind us, and it disappears completely, blending back into what looks like solid stone. "How is that possible?" I ask. "Old magic," Seren says. "Vampire construction?" Vampire. The word should terrify me. Instead, it explains everything. The red eyes, the speed, the way the man moved through those hunters. "What's your name?" the man asks me. "Maravale. I am Lucen Veros." He looks at the boy. "This is my son, Aiden." Son, not adopted, not ward. Son. "The burns will heal," Lucen says, "but he needs rest and darkness." We walk deeper into the corridor. The stone gives way to polished wood, expensive carpet. This isn't just a hideout. It's a home. Serene stops in front of me. She pulls out a small metal stamp. Strange symbols cover its surface. "Give me your wrist," she says. "Why?" "Sanctuary mark," Lucen says. "As long as you bear it, any attack on you is considered an attack on me." "I don't understand." "You saved my heir. You put yourself at risk for someone you'd never met. That creates a debt." "I don't want a debt." His smile is sharp. "Too late." Seren presses the stamp against my wrist. It doesn't hurt, but warmth spreads through my skin. When she pulls it away, a small symbol remains. It glows faintly silver. "There," she says. "You're under the king's protection now." King. My stomach drops. "You're the vampire king," I say to Lucen. "Among other things." Aiden squeezes my hand. "Father doesn't let people close," he whispers. "They always die." The words hit me like ice water. I look at Lucen. His expression has gone carefully blank. "The hunters didn't find us by accident," he says. "Someone told them where to look." "Who would do that?" "Someone who wants my son dead." His red eyes find mine. "Someone who knows you helped him." The sanctuary mark burns against my skin. Not painful, but noticeable. A constant reminder that I'm connected to this world now, whether I want to be or not. "They saw me," I say. "The hunters. They'll remember my face." "Yes." "So what happens now?" Lucen studies me for a long moment. "Now we find out who betrayed us, and we make sure they can never do it again." Aiden's hand tightens in mine. He's scared. They both are, though Lucen hides it better. "I should go home," I say. "No." Lucen's voice cuts through the air. "Home is the first place they'll look." "Then what am I supposed to do?" "Stay here. Until it's safe." "And when will that be?" His smile returns, cold and sharp. "When everyone who threatens my family is dead." The corridor opens into a large room. Rich furniture, blackout curtains, books lining every wall. It should feel welcoming. Instead, it feels like a beautiful cage. "There's a guest room upstairs," Seren says. "Everything you need is there. For how long? As long as necessary, Lucen says. I want to argue. I want to demand answers. But Aiden is still holding my hand, and he's just a child who's been hurt by monsters. Human monsters, if the hunters were any indication. All right, I say. One night. Lucen nods once. One night. But something in his eyes tells me it won't be that simple. Nothing ever is when kings and vampires are involved. Serene leads me upstairs. The guest room is twice the size of my entire apartment. The bed has more pillows than I've seen in one place. Fresh clothes are laid out on the dresser. Everything fits perfectly. How did you know my size? I ask. We have resources, Serene says. That's not ominous at all. She almost smiles. Rest. Tomorrow we'll assess the threat level and make decisions. She leaves me alone. I sit on the edge of the bed and look at the mark on my wrist. It pulses softly, in rhythm with my heartbeat. I pull out my phone. 17 missed calls have become 23, all from Evander. I delete them without listening. I've heard enough of his voice for one lifetime. But as I set the phone on the nightstand, it buzzes with a text. You can't hide forever, Mara. I know where you've been. I know who you were with. Come home before you make this worse for everyone. My hands shake as I read it. He knows. Somehow, he knows about tonight. About Aiden. About Lucen. I should tell them. I should run downstairs and explain that my abusive ex-boyfriend is somehow connected to the hunters who nearly killed a vampire child. Instead, I turn off the phone and hide it in the drawer. Some problems don't get better when you share them. Some problems just spread. The mark on my wrist grows warmer. It's reacting to my fear. Or maybe it's trying to comfort me. Either way, I'm not going home tomorrow. Evander made sure of that with a single text message. I lie down on the impossibly soft bed and close my eyes. Somewhere in this house, a vampire king is planning war. His son is recovering from burns that could have killed him. And I'm caught in the middle of a fight I don't understand. But for the first time in months, I'm not afraid to fall asleep. The sanctuary mark pulses against my skin. Whatever happens tomorrow, tonight I'm safe. Even if safe means sleeping in a vampire's house while hunters search the streets for a woman foolish enough to save a child in an alley. I wake to sunlight filtering through blackout curtains. For a moment, I forget where I am. Then I see the mark on my wrist, still glowing faintly, and everything comes rushing back. Vampires. Hunters. A child with red eyes who called me safe. I check my phone. 10 a.m. I should be getting ready for my afternoon shift at the coffee shop. Instead, I'm hiding in a mansion from people who want to kill me for helping the wrong kid. Someone knocks on the door. Come in, I call. Serene enters carrying a breakfast tray. Fresh fruit, toast, coffee that smells better than anything we serve at work. Sleep well? She asks. Better than expected. She sets the tray on the small table by the window. Lucen wants to speak with you after you eat. About what? Your situation. My situation. That's one way to put it. Where is Aiden? I ask. Library. Reading. He asked about you 3 times already. Something warm spreads through my chest. A child I met 12 hours ago is worried about me. When was the last time anyone worried about me? The mark on your wrist, Serene says. How does it feel? I touch it gently. Warm. Like it's alive. It is, in a way. It's connected to Lucen's power. If you're in real danger, he'll know. That seems invasive. It's protection. There's a difference. She moves toward the door, then stops. Mara? Yes? Last night, when you shielded Aiden from the UV light, you didn't hesitate. He was hurt. You didn't know what he was. You could have run. But I didn't. No, she says. You didn't. That matters here. After she leaves, I eat quickly and get dressed. The clothes fit perfectly, which is still unsettling. I make my way downstairs, following the sound of quiet voices. I find Lucen in a study lined with maps and computer screens. He's changed from his elegant dark clothes into something more casual. Jeans and a button-down shirt that makes him look almost human. Almost. "Good morning," he says without looking up from a tablet. "Good morning." I step into the room. "Seren said you wanted to talk." "I do. Sit." It's not a request. I sit in the leather chair across from his desk. "Tell me about Evander Klein," he says. My blood turns to ice. "How do you know that name?" "I know many things. Tell me about him." "There's nothing to tell." Lucen looks up from the tablet. His red eyes pin me in place. "He texted you last night, after the attack. That's not a coincidence." "You went through my phone?" "I protected my family. Your phone was part of that assessment." I want to be angry. I want to storm out. But his matter-of-fact tone reminds me that this isn't about privacy. It's about survival. "Evander is my ex-boyfriend," I say. "Ex-boyfriend who happens to know about vampire hunters. I didn't know he was involved with hunters." "But you knew he was dangerous." I touch my ribs where the bruise still aches. "Yes." "Tell me." So I do. I tell him about the werewolf pack that took me in when I had nowhere else to go. About Evander, who seemed kind and protective at first. About how he slowly isolated me from anyone who might interfere with his control. I tell him about the night everything changed. How the pack turned on me because Evander convinced them I was a liability. How they threw me out with nothing but the clothes on my back. I don't tell him about the worst things. The hitting. The threats. The way Evander made me believe I deserved it all. "Where is this pack now?" Lucen asks. "Scattered. Most of them left the city after Evander's business deals went bad." "What kind of business?" "Import-export. Security consulting. He never gave me details." Security consulting. Lucen's mouth twists. That's what hunters call it when they need legitimate cover. "You think he's been hunting vampires this whole time?" "I think he's been hunting something. The question is whether you were part of his operation or just convenient." The word convenient hits me harder than it should. I was never part of anything he did. "But you were close to him. You lived with him. You would have seen things." "I saw financial documents sometimes, client lists, but I didn't pay attention." "Think, Mara. Anything unusual. Meetings at strange hours. Equipment that didn't belong in an office." I close my eyes and try to remember. Evander's apartment. His office. The basement he never let me enter. "There was a storage room," I say slowly. "In the basement. He said it was for seasonal decorations, but I heard him moving heavy things down there at night." "What kind of things?" "Metal, glass, electronics. And once I saw him carrying something that looked like a medical cooler." Lucen's expression darkens. "Blood storage." "What?" "Vampire blood has properties hunters find useful. Enhanced strength, faster healing, better reflexes." My stomach turns. "You think he was collecting blood from vampires?" "I think he was collecting it from somewhere." A new voice cuts through the conversation. "Father?" Aiden appears in the doorway. He's wearing clean clothes, and his burns look better, but his eyes are still haunted. "What is it?" Lucen asks, his tone immediately gentler. "Seren found something you need to see." Lucen stands. "Stay here, Mara." "Actually," Aiden says, "she should come too. It's about her." My heart pounds as we follow Lucen through the house. Serene is waiting in what looks like a security center. Multiple monitors show feeds from cameras around the city. "What did you find?" Lucen asks. Seren points to one of the screens. "This is the coffee shop where Mara works, 20 minutes ago." On the monitor, I watch Evander walk through my workplace. He talks to my manager, smiles his charming smile, shakes hands like he's conducting normal business. He's telling them you had a family emergency, Seren says, that you'll be out of town for a while. How can you hear what he's saying? Enhanced surveillance equipment. We monitor locations our people frequent. Our people, like I belong here now. What else? Lucen asks. This. Seren switches to another feed, my apartment building. Evander stands outside my door with 2 other men. One of them picks my lock in under 30 seconds. They're searching your apartment, Seren says, looking for something specific. What could they possibly want? Evidence that you helped us, Lucen says. Or evidence that you know something about his operation. On screen, the men emerge from my apartment carrying a box. I can't see what's inside, but Evander looks satisfied. We need to assume he has everything, Seren says. Photos, documents, anything that might connect her to vampire activity. I don't have anything like that, I say. You have a smartphone with GPS tracking, Lucen says. You have financial records showing where you work and when. You have social media accounts that map your entire routine. In other words, Seren adds, you have everything a hunter needs to predict your behavior. The implications hit me all at once. Evander doesn't just know I helped Aiden. He knows where I go, when I go there, and who I might meet along the way. He's hunting you, I say to Lucen. No, he's hunting you. I'm just the bonus prize. Aiden moves closer to me. His small hand finds mine. Don't let him take her, he says to his father. Lucen looks at his son. Something passes between them. Understanding, maybe, or a promise. No one is taking anyone, Lucen says, but we need to change our approach. What do you mean? I ask. I mean, you're not going back to your old life. That life ended the moment you saved my son. You can't just decide that. I'm not deciding anything. Evander made the decision when he connected you to this world. Seren clears her throat. We have another problem. She points to a different monitor, a news broadcast. The headline reads, Local woman missing after downtown incident. My own face stares back at me from the screen. An old photo from my job application. Missing person report, Seren says. Filed by Evander Klein, who claims to be your concerned ex-boyfriend. He told police you've been acting strangely lately. Mentioned possible drug use. That's a lie. Of course it is, but it gives him legal cover to involve law enforcement in the search. Smart, Lucen says, but there's no admiration in his voice. He's using human authorities to expand his hunting network. So what do we do? I ask. We disappear you properly, Seren says. New identity? New city? New life? No. Aiden's voice is small but firm. She stays. It's not that simple, Seren says. Yes, it is. Aiden looks up at his father. She's ours now. The word ours sends a strange thrill through me, dangerous and tempting in equal measure. Aiden, Lucen says carefully, Mara has to make her own choice. But she already did. She chose to help me. That's different. No, it's not. I look between father and son. Aiden's fierce certainty. Lucen's careful control. Both of them waiting for me to decide whether I belong here or not. What would staying mean? I ask. Protection, Lucen says. Resources. A place in this household. And the cost? Your old life ends completely. No going back. No contact with anyone from your past. That doesn't sound like much of a cost. Something flickers in his eyes. Surprise again, or maybe relief. Think carefully, Mara. This world is dangerous. The people who oppose us don't show mercy to humans who help vampires. And the people who supposedly protected me didn't show mercy either. That's different. Is it? I touch the bruise on my ribs. At least you're honest about the danger. Aiden's hand tightens in mine. On the monitor, Evander's face appears again as the news story continues. He's giving an interview now, playing the part of the worried ex-boyfriend perfectly. He's good at pretending to care, I say. Most predators are, Lucen says. But you're different? I don't pretend to be anything I'm not. I study his face, the sharp cheekbones, the red eyes that miss nothing, the mouth that could smile charmingly or deliver death with equal ease. No, I say. You don't. Then you understand what you're choosing. I understand that a 10-year-old boy shouldn't have to worry about hunters burning him in alleys. I understand that sometimes the monsters aren't the ones with fangs. Mara, I'll stay. The words come out before I can think them through. But once they're spoken, I don't want to take them back. Aiden grins. Seren nods approvingly. Lucen watches me with an expression I can't read. For how long? He asks. Until it's safe to leave. And if it's never safe? I look at Aiden's hopeful face, at the sanctuary mark glowing on my wrist, at the monitors showing Evander's lies spreading across the news. Then I guess I'm not leaving. Lucen stands slowly. In that case, we need to teach you how to survive in this world. What does that mean? It means your education starts now. He moves toward the door, then stops. Mara? Yes? Thank you. For what? For choosing my son. After he leaves, Aiden hugs my waist. His arms are thin but strong. I knew you'd stay, he says. How? Because you're not afraid of us. I look down at his serious face. Should I be? Probably, but I'm glad you're not. Serene starts shutting down the monitors. We'll begin security training this afternoon, she says. Physical conditioning tomorrow. Training for what? For the war that's coming. War? Evander isn't working alone. He has resources, connections, other hunters who share his interests. And you think they'll come here? I know they will. The question is whether we'll be ready when they do. I watch the last monitor go dark. Somewhere in the city, Evander is building his case against me, creating a story that makes him the hero and me the villain. But for the first time in months, I'm not afraid of his story. I'm writing my own now. And this one has vampires in it. 3 days pass in a blur of training and tension. Serene teaches me how to spot surveillance equipment, how to move quietly through the house's hidden passages, how to recognize the signs of a hunter ambush. Aiden follows me everywhere, chattering about books and showing me his drawings. Most of them feature a woman with dark hair standing between monsters and a small boy. The resemblance is flattering and terrifying. Lucen keeps his distance. He observes my training from doorways, nods when I master a new skill, but he doesn't speak to me directly unless necessary. I tell myself it doesn't matter. I'm here for Aiden's safety, not his father's approval. On the 4th night, everything changes. I'm reading to Aiden in the library when Seren bursts through the door. Her face is grim. We have a problem, she says. Lucen appears behind her, moving with that predatory silence. What kind of problem? Hunter surveillance team spotted 3 blocks from here. They've been watching the house for 6 hours. My stomach drops. How many? 4 that we can see. Probably more we can't. Aiden presses closer to me. Are they coming inside? Not if I can help it, Lucen says. His voice carries that cold authority I'm learning to recognize. Seren, initiate lockdown protocol. Already done. All entrances secured. Emergency exits prepped. Good. Lucen looks at me. How much do you remember from your security training? Everything. We'll see. He moves to a wall panel and presses his hand against it. The panel slides away, revealing an arsenal of weapons. Silver blades, UV lights, things I don't recognize but that look deadly. They won't attack tonight, he says. Too many witnesses, but they're mapping our defenses. So what do? We let them think they've learned something useful, then we disappear before they can act on it. Disappear where? Backup safe house, across the city. Aiden tugs on my sleeve. Will you come with us? Of course. But Lucen shakes his head. No, you'll go separately. Different route, different timing. Why? Because if they're watching this house, they're watching for you specifically. The thought chills me. You think Evander told them about me? I think Evander is leading them. Seren pulls out a tablet and shows me a thermal imaging display. 4 heat signatures positioned around the house. Professional spacing. Patient surveillance. Hunter tactics, she says. But the positioning is wrong for a standard vampire hunt. Wrong how? They're focused on exit points a human would use, not a vampire. Understanding hits me like ice water. They're not here for you. They're here for me. Probably. Aiden's hand finds mine. Then we all go together. No, Lucen says. That's what they want. All of us in one place makes their job easier. So we split up? You and I go first, Serene says to me. Draw their attention. Lucen and Aiden follow later using the underground route. That seems backwards. It's strategy. You're the target they expect to be afraid. They'll follow you thinking you're running scared. And then? Then we lead them somewhere they can't follow. Lucen moves closer. For the first time in days, he looks directly at me. This is dangerous, Mara. More dangerous than staying here and waiting. What are my chances if I stay? Poor. And if I run? Better, but not good. I look around the library, at the books Aiden loves, at the comfortable chairs where we've spent hours reading together, at the windows now covered with reinforced shutters. This isn't home, but it's the closest thing I've had to one in years. I'm not running, I say. Mara, I'm not running from him again. I won't give Evander the satisfaction. Lucen studies my face. This isn't about satisfaction. It's about survival. Sometimes they're the same thing. Seren checks her watch. We need to move in 10 minutes if we're going to use the cover of shift change at the hospital across the street. Then let's move. But Aiden doesn't let go of my hand. Promise you'll come back. I promise. Promise you won't let the hunters hurt you. I promise. Promise you won't leave us. The last promise is harder, because I can't control what happens next. None of us can. I promise I'll try, I say. It's not the answer he wants, but it's the only honest one I have. Seren leads me through a passage I didn't know existed. We emerge in the basement of a building 2 blocks away. The exit is hidden behind a maintenance panel. From here, we take the subway, she says. 3 stops east. Then we wait. Wait for what? For them to follow us. Or for Lucen to signal that he and Aiden are clear. The subway platform is nearly empty. A few late-shift workers heading home. A couple of teenagers trying to look tougher than they are. Normal people living normal lives. I wonder what that feels like. There, Seren says quietly. 2 men in dark clothing descend the platform stairs. They try to look casual, but their eyes scan the area too systematically. Professional hunters. They're following us, I say. Good. That means they're not following Lucen. The train arrives. We board with the other passengers. The hunters get on 3 cars behind us. Now what? Now we lead them on a tour of the city. For the next hour, we move through the subway system, transferring lines, doubling back, taking routes that lead nowhere useful. The hunters stay with us, always 2 or 3 cars behind. They're persistent, I say. They're desperate. Evander probably promised them something big if they bring you in alive. Like what? Information about vampire safe houses, schedules, weaknesses. I don't know any of that. You know where Lucen sleeps, what time Aiden has nightmares, which routes we use for emergencies. She's right. After 4 days in the house, I know things a hunter would kill for. And if I don't cooperate, they'll make you cooperate. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Platform 7. Come alone. Last chance. I show Seren the message. Her expression darkens. Evander, she says. How did he get this number? Same way he got everything else. He's been planning this for longer than we thought. The train stops at Platform 7. Through the windows, I see a figure standing alone under the fluorescent lights. Tall, familiar. Evander. Don't even think about it, Seren says. He'll follow us forever if I don't face him. He'll kill you if you do. Maybe. But at least Aiden will be safe. Mara! I stand up as the doors open. Tell Lucien I kept my promise. I didn't run. Before Seren can stop me, I step onto the platform. Evander smiles as I approach. The same charming smile that once made me feel special. Now it just makes me feel sick. Hello, darling, he says. You look well. Vampire protection suits you. What do you want? The same thing I've always wanted. You. Home. Where you belong. I don't belong with you anymore. Because of them? He gestures vaguely toward the train. Because of creatures that drink blood and steal children? Because you hurt me. I protected you from a world you didn't understand. You controlled me. Same thing. The casual admission hits me harder than I expected. No denial. No justification. Just the simple truth that he sees no difference between protection and control. It's not the same thing, I say. Isn't it? Your vampire king controls you now, marks you, keeps you locked in his house. He gave me a choice. Did he? Or did he just make you think you had one? For a moment, doubt creeps in. Did Lucien manipulate me? Did I choose to stay? Or did he make staying feel like the only option? Then I remember Aiden's hand in mine. The way Lucien stepped back when I made my decision. The sanctuary mark that warms with comfort instead of burning with compulsion. He gave me a choice, I repeat. You never did. Evander's smile fades. I gave you everything. You gave me a cage. And what has he given you? Really? Safety, respect, a child who trusts me. A child who will outlive you by centuries. A king who will forget you the moment something more interesting comes along. His words find their mark. I am human, temporary, breakable, but I'm also here by choice. Maybe, I say, but at least I'll live my own life while it lasts. That's where you're wrong. Evander raises his hand. Around the platform, figures emerge from the shadows. Hunters, more than I can count. You're not going to live anything, he says. You're going to tell me everything you know about vampire operations, and then you're going to disappear. And if I refuse, then the boy dies first. Slowly, while his father watches. My blood turns to ice. You can't touch them. Can't I? I know where they're going. I know their backup plans. I know which route they'll use to get there. He pulls out a tablet and shows me a map. Red dots mark locations throughout the city. Too many dots. Too many hunters. Checkmate, darling, he says. But before I can respond, the lights go out. Emergency lighting kicks in, casting everything in red. In the dim glow, I see shapes moving within human speed. Vampires. Lucien appears beside me so quickly I don't see him arrive. One moment I'm alone with Evander. The next, the vampire king is standing between us. Did you really think, he says to Evander, that I would let you threaten my family? Your family? Evander laughs. She's human. Disposable. You'll replace her within a month. No, Lucien says quietly. I won't. He moves. What happens next is fast and brutal and decisive. Evander's hunters are skilled, but they're not prepared for 3 elder vampires moving with coordinated precision. Serene appears on my left. Another vampire I don't recognize takes position on my right. They form a protective triangle around me while Lucen dismantles Evander's operation piece by piece. "Where's Aiden?" I shout over the noise. "Safe," Seren calls back. "Hidden." "How did you know where to find us?" "The mark on your wrist. Lucen can track it anywhere in the city." The sanctuary mark. Not just protection, connection. Within minutes, it's over. Evander's hunters are down or gone. The platform is empty except for our small group. Evander himself lies crumpled against the far wall, not dead, but broken, breathing, but barely. Lucen walks over to where he fell. His movements are controlled again, elegant, but there's still violence lurking just beneath the surface. "You made a mistake," he says to Evander. "Did I?" "You threatened a vampire's family. There's no coming back from that." "She's not your family. She's just a human who got in the way." Lucen looks back at me. His red eyes catch the emergency lighting. "No," he says. "She's mine." And the word mine should terrify me. It should remind me of Evander's possessive control, but it doesn't, because when Lucen says it, it sounds like a promise instead of a threat. Evander tries to stand and fails. "This isn't over." "Yes," Lucen says quietly. "It is." He doesn't kill Evander. He doesn't have to. The hunters are scattered. Their leader is broken. Their network is exposed. But more importantly, Evander's hold on me is finally, completely severed. "Come on," Lucen says to me. "Let's go home." Home. The word settles into my chest like warmth. "What about him?" I ask, gesturing toward Evander. "He's no longer your concern." "But he'll try again." "No, he won't." There's something final in his voice, something that tells me Evander's hunting days are over, whether he survives them or not. Seren leads us to a different exit. We emerge into the night air, and I realize I'm shaking. Not from fear, from relief. It's over. Really over. "Aiden?" I ask. "Waiting for us," Lucen says. "He refused to sleep until you came back." I promised him I would. Yes, you did. We walk through empty streets toward a vehicle I don't recognize. The sanctuary mark on my wrist pulses steadily, not with warning this time, with peace. "Lucen?" "Yes?" "When you said I was yours, what did that mean?" He stops walking, turns to face me. In the streetlight, his features look almost human, almost gentle. "It meant," he says, "that you have a place here, for as long as you want it. And if I want it forever, then forever it is." Simple words, but they carry the weight of promises I'm finally ready to believe. "Okay," I say. "Okay? Forever sounds good." He smiles. Not the sharp, dangerous smile I've seen him use on enemies. Something softer, warmer. "Then let's go home," he says. This time when he says home, I know exactly where he means. And for the first time in my life, I know exactly where I belong. 6 months later, I wake to the sound of rain against the windows and Aiden's laughter echoing from the kitchen. The sanctuary mark on my wrist has faded to a thin silver line, but it still pulses with gentle warmth when I'm content, which is most of the time now. I find them making breakfast together. Aiden stands on a step stool, carefully measuring flour while Lucen guides his hands. They're both covered in white powder and completely absorbed in their task. "What's the occasion?" I ask. "Pancakes," Aiden announces. "Father said you like them." "I do." Lucen looks up from the mixing bowl. His hair is mussed and there's flour on his cheek. He looks younger when he's not being a king. "Good morning," he says. "Good morning." These quiet mornings have become my favorite part of the day. Before the world intrudes, before duty calls. Just the three of us in the kitchen, pretending to be a normal family. "Mara," Aiden says, "will you help us flip them?" Of course. I move to the stove where a pan is already warming. Lucen pours batter in perfect circles while I supervise. His movements are precise even here, cooking pancakes like he plans battle strategies. How many hunter networks have been dismantled this month? I ask. 3, Serene says from the doorway, all connected to Evander's operation. She's fully armed despite the early hour. Always ready, always vigilant. Any resistance? I ask. Nothing we couldn't handle. That's Serene's way of saying they crushed their enemies thoroughly and efficiently. I've learned not to ask for details. And Evander? Still in the psychiatric facility? Lucen says. Still claiming vampires kidnapped his girlfriend. Good. It's not kind, but it's honest. Evander's broken mind is the only justice I'll ever get for the years he stole from me. The first pancake is ready, Aiden says. We eat at the kitchen table like a real family. Aiden chatters about his latest book. Seren reports on security updates. Lucen listens to both with equal attention. Mara? Aiden says around a mouthful of pancake. Do you think we could get a dog? A dog? Father said I should ask you first. I look at Lucen. He's studying his coffee with unnecessary concentration. What kind of dog? I ask. A big one, for protection. I think we have protection covered. But dogs are different. They love you even when you're not being useful. The innocent observation hits deeper than he intended. Even after 6 months, I sometimes wonder if I'm here because I'm wanted or because I'm useful. Dogs are a lot of responsibility, I say. I'm responsible. You are, but dogs live a long time, 15 years, sometimes more. Aiden's face falls slightly. He's thinking the same thing I am. Humans don't live as long as vampires. What happens to our little family when I age and die? Maybe, I say carefully. We should talk about it more. Okay. But the moment has shifted. The comfortable domesticity is still there, but underneath it lurks the question none of us want to address. What happens when forever ends? After breakfast, I walk Aiden to his tutoring session in the library. Lucen's hired the best teachers money can buy. Mathematics, literature, history, languages, everything a future vampire king might need to know. Mara? Aiden says as we reach the library door. Yes? Are you happy here? Very happy. Even though you can't go back to your old life? I think about my old life. The coffee shop where I counted every minute until closing. The tiny apartment where I jumped at every unexpected sound. The constant fear that Evander would decide I needed correcting again. I don't want my old life back, I say. Good, because I don't want you to leave. I'm not leaving. Promise? I promise. He hugs me quickly and disappears into the library. I stand in the doorway for a moment, watching him greet his tutor with genuine enthusiasm. 6 months ago, he was a traumatized child who barely spoke. Now he's curious and confident, and eager to learn. The change is remarkable. I find Lucen in his study, reviewing reports from vampire territories across the continent. King business never stops, even on pancake mornings. How bad is it? I ask. The hunter networks? Mostly eliminated. A few stragglers, but nothing organized. That's good. Yes. But something in his tone suggests complications. What else? I ask. Sit down, Mara. I sit. My stomach tightens with familiar anxiety. The Vampire Council has called a formal gathering, he says. Next month. What does that mean? It means every vampire lord in North America will come here to discuss the hunter crisis and its resolution. Here? This is my territory, my responsibility. I process this information. How many vampires are we talking about? 37 lords, plus their retinues. Perhaps 200 vampires total. That's a lot of vampires. Yes. And they're all coming here? Yes. To our house? To my house. The distinction is subtle but important. This is still his house. I'm still a guest, even after 6 months. What does this mean for Aiden? I ask. He'll be expected to attend certain ceremonies, meet other vampire children, begin forming political connections. And for me? Lucen's pause is telling. Traditionally, he says, humans don't attend council gatherings. I see. It's not personal. It's protocol. Of course. But it feels personal. After 6 months of playing house, reality is reasserting itself. I'm human. This is their world. I don't belong in the formal structures of vampire society. There are options, Lucen says. Such as? You could visit Seren's sister in Vancouver. She runs a safe house for supernatural refugees. For how long? 2 weeks, maybe 3. And Aiden would understand that you're being protected during a dangerous time. I nod slowly. It makes sense. Practical. Safe. And it breaks my heart a little. When do I leave? I ask. You don't have to leave. I'm offering you the choice. What's the alternative? You stay and deal with the consequences. What consequences? Lucen sets down his tablet and looks at me directly. Vampire lords are traditional, conservative. They won't understand why I've allowed a human into my household. And if they object, then I'll have to choose between council approval and keeping you here. The weight of that choice settles between us, his political standing versus my place in this family. That's not fair to you, I say. Fairness has nothing to do with it. Lucen? I won't make this decision for you, Mara. You have to choose what you can live with. I look around his study, maps marking vampire territories, communication devices connecting him to immortal allies, the trappings of a king I barely understand. Can I think about it? Of course, you have time. But as I leave his study, I wonder how much time any of us really have. 6 months felt like forever when I was healing from my past. Now it feels like the blink of an eye. In the hallway, I run into Seren. He told you about the council, she says. Yes. And you're thinking about leaving. I'm thinking about what's best for everyone. That's admirable, also stupid. I stop walking. Excuse me? You think leaving protects him. It doesn't. It just proves to the council that humans can't be trusted to stay. And staying proves what? That some humans are worth keeping. We walk together toward the kitchen. The breakfast dishes are already clean and put away, evidence of our domestic mourning erased. Seren, I say, what happens when I get old? What do you mean? I mean I'm human. I'll age and die while Lucen and Aiden stay young. What happens to this family then? She stops walking. You want the honest answer? Always. I don't know. Vampire-human bonds are rare. Most don't last long enough to find out. Because the humans die? Because the humans leave. The distinction hurts more than I expected. Why do they leave? Because immortality is hard to watch when you know you'll never have it. In the library, I can hear Aiden reciting French vocabulary with his tutor. Perfect pronunciation, flawless accent, the voice of a child who will have centuries to perfect his skills. Has Lucen ever had a human companion before? I ask. Once, a long time ago. What happened? She chose mortality over forever. Meaning? She left before the relationship could become complicated by time. I think about this. About the choice between a short, intense love and watching that love become memory. Do you think I should leave? I ask. I think you should decide what you're fighting for. Seren says, your comfort or your family. This isn't my family, isn't it? Before I can answer, Aiden appears in the hallway. Mara, he says, will you help me with my English essay? What's the topic? Family traditions. I look at Serene. She's almost smiling. Of course, I tell Aiden. Let's go work on it. As we walk back to the library, Aiden takes my hand. I wrote about pancake mornings, he says. That's a good tradition. I think so too. Father said we could make them every weekend if you want. I'd like that. Even when the council comes? Especially then. He grins and tugs me toward his desk. There's his essay, written in careful cursive. My Family's Saturday Mornings. The title stops me cold. Not My Father's Household or Where I Live. My Family. In a 10-year-old's mind, we already are what we're afraid to name. Read it to me, I say. And as Aiden reads his essay about flower fights and burnt pancakes and the woman who teaches him that morning routines can be sacred, I realize something important. I'm not fighting for a place in this family. I already have one. The only question is whether I'm brave enough to claim it. Mara, Aiden says when he finishes reading. Are you crying? Happy tears, I say. Because you like my essay? Because I like our family. Me too. And in that moment, sitting in a vampire's library while a child reads me stories about pancakes, I know what I'm going to tell Lucin. I'm staying. Whatever the council thinks, whatever the consequences, whatever time brings. I'm staying. I'm